So we are going to jump right back in. Where did we leave off? Oh, I know where we left off. We are starting with the road trip today. And this is, this is one of the scenes in this book that I needed. This was one of the things that I think probably right from the start, I was thinking there is a road trip. It's going to happen and it's going to be, they're just going to have the best time ever. It's going to be wonderful. Of course, she's got cancer at this point, but she hasn't started chemo yet, so she's fine to go for a road trip. So we are picking up directly after our good old Nate and Lexi exchanged their I love yous and got it on 2.5 weeks into their relationship. And I get it. Well, sure, she's got cancer, so we're speeding things up a little bit, but was it really necessary to have it be that fast? I didn't realize until I went back through this. I did not put it together that it was that fast. I'm not gonna go change it now. So we have just finished that scene. Chapter 14 is picking up that night. Chapter 14 starts off with Lexi getting home the night after. Nate drives her home. She is absolutely elated and has forgotten that she's supposed to be sad and remembers when Nate leaves, but still super happy. Oh, okay. He loved me. I'd never expected to be so excited to hear those words, but we'd only been together for a short time, and even though I knew everything was accelerated because of the cancer, I knew he'd meant it. Okay. I'd never been in love before, but for some reason I knew deep in my heart that this is what it was supposed to feel like. Okay. Okay. I can't really argue with that because at least I was trying to rationalize it. I didn't do a great job, but at least I tried. Okay. So Lexi goes home. Mom is sitting in the living room in the dark waiting for her. That's a little creepy. Dark living room, sitting on the couch, legs crossed neatly, tapping fingers. I'm picturing Lexi's walking home, Mom's on the couch like this, waiting for her. It was nice, Lexi says when Mom asks her how her night was. So Lexi goes to sit with her. Mom asks if she's feeling okay. Lexi said, I guess so, well as can be expected. Again, everyone's like, feeling all right? Lexi's like, I got leukemia. But yeah, I feel great. No fever, she asks. Lexi says no. Did you have dinner? Lexi says she's not hungry. And Mom doesn't push back at all. I think she does later on, but okay. And then this is a conversation, I think I referenced this a little bit earlier. Lexi starts thinking about the story Nate told about his dad. So she starts thinking about, I can't imagine the kind of pain he must have felt losing his dad. You haven't spoken to your dad in 5 years. So Lexi then has a little heart-to-heart with her mom because she feels bad, apologizes for being so hard on her when they were moving. I think at this point in the story, I was starting to put together the fact that the whole being angry at her mom about moving wasn't a very Lexi thing, and so I think I was trying to backtrack a little bit at this point, and Mom immediately says, not something to worry about. I understand why it was hard for you, and you really weren't that bad. So this was my way of, you know, trying to downplay that whole Lexi was really mad and a real pain about the whole moving thing, and so Mom says, no, you weren't that bad. And Lexi's like, I know, I should have been more supportive. It's the best thing that ever happened to us, and you're happier, am I right? Mom says, yes, I'm much happier, except of course your daughter's just, you know, been diagnosed with cancer again, but we're happy. As Jenna said in that very first prologue. I'm really glad we came here, says Lexi. Took you long enough. If things get any more interesting with Nate, she might forgive Mom. And Mom says, thank you for saying all this. It's nice to hear. Lexi says, I really love you. Mom said, what brought this on? Was it the doctor today? Do you think? Of course it was the doctor. Okay, so now it's the next morning. Lexi asks if she can go on the road trip. Mom's like, absolutely not. Lexi's like, I feel fine. I haven't started treatments. We got it early, so it hasn't spread too much. You don't know that. How do you know that? I don't think she's even had scans yet. I think it's just been the bone marrow. The emergency bone marrow aspiration once again. So Lexi definitively says that it has not spread, even though she has no way of knowing if that's true or not. And friends know we'll take care of her. Mom, I'm not gonna have the chance to do stuff like this once chemo starts. That is accurate again. Mom says you need rest for chemo on Monday. You're not going on some mystery road trip all weekend when you should be making sure you're in as good health as you can possibly be. Well, I'm not gonna get sicker from driving for a few hours with my friends. Again, not wrong about that. Fresh air will make me feel better than lying in bed. No means no, Lexi. Oh. And then Mom reveals her true reasoning, which is because she does not like the bucket list, because it sounds like Lexi is giving up, and I am not going to support that. I could go either way on this, honestly. I get it from both of their perspectives. And Lexi immediately just says, no, that's not what it's about. It's something I want to do for fun, so I have things to look forward to while I'm sick. I'm not giving up. Then they cry. Mom says she doesn't like it, but then she says, you know, I'm supposed to be taking care of you, not the other way around. Like, says, I know, it's hard. And then Mom changes her mind, says, you can go, but I have conditions. And the condition is she can't call it a bucket list. I prefer if it was something positive. So Lexi says, what if I call it a life list? And you can just think of it as things I want to experience. Doesn't have to anything to do with the cancer, just be something I want to finish by the end of high school. Mom's like, yeah, okay, that works. Text me every 2 hours. So now they spend the rest of the week making plans for the road trip. They don't have a destination because, as Sebastian so dramatically stated, the journey is what matters. Hey, that's another thing that carried over. Not in the same way at all, but that line is in there. Okay, so they're lying in the hallway after school, all of them, and Maya asks what they're gonna do. Are we gonna just drive endlessly? And Sebastian goes, that's the fun of it. We crank up the music, drive all night, play road trip games, all the good stuff. Remember, these guys are 16 and they are now about to go on a road trip. 8 people all driving with probably learner's permits. Maya says that sounds pointless. Sebastian immediately says, well, it's not for you, it's for Lexi, and she loves it. And Lexi says, yes, I do. Never done anything like this before. Nate says it's gonna be amazing. Sebastian says, well, of course it is. I'm planning it. Not wrong. Everyone's meeting at my place on Saturday morning around 7. Adam says 7 a.m. That's cruel, Sebastian. And Sebastian says, it's not cruel, it's fun. It's living on the edge. It's a gallon of coffee for each individual person. And Maya says, okay, now you're speaking my language. But now Toby says, Mom said we can take the minivan, but we can't crash it. Well, I'll cross that off the itinerary then, says Sebastian. Too bad. I thought that would be a great end to the trip. And then Maya says, you're such a nerd. Sebastian says, I'm proud of it. I'm going to be late for a meeting. Ooh, Juliet speaks. That's rare. She says, that sounds a lot like a date to me. Sebastian says, shut up, and turns red. And then Nate asks if Reagan is coming this weekend. Sebastian says, probably not. He has rowing practice. Nate says, I'm sorry. I thought you knew that wasn't optional. Bring him. We're not that embarrassing. Nate asks if Lexi wants a ride. She says no, probably for the best. Remember what happened the last time you gave her a ride? It's gonna happen now, you're gonna propose. No, I'm not talking about that yet. We still have another few months before we get there. Love you, they say. Oh, and she is not feeling well. She's just in pain. Goes to the front foyer. She's starting to... Everything was progressing so quickly. I had a sneaking feeling that meant the cancer was spreading through my body. You just said that it wasn't. Make up your mind. Walks into Ryder. He says, watch out there, Spacey. They go and get in the car, and she's kind of rubbing her chest because it's hurting, and Ryder's like, are you okay? She says she's in pain. He says, scale of 1 to 10. She says, 4, it's no big deal, and that's it. Okay, next morning, Mom sends her with a first aid kit because that's how you deal with cancer. Here, bring some Band-Aids and an emergency ice pack. That'll fix you right up. Oh, and an oxygen machine. You've been diagnosed 10 minutes ago. Please take a first aid kit and some oxygen. There's no in between there. That is 0 to 100. So she gets to Sebastian's house. They make coffee. Everyone gets there. They go and pack up the car, and Reagan shows up, and he is going to come. So they all get into the car, decide to take shifts in the driver's seat so no one gets too tired to drive, and so that, you know, they all have the equal opportunity to be pulled over and car impounded. First stop is a gas station. Oh, road trip snacks. Okay, so they go to the gas station and they run inside, freaking out. Lexi can't really run, so Sebastian comes up with a shopping cart. They don't have shopping carts at gas stations, do they? Okay, so Lexi gets in the shopping cart. Maya gets jealous, and so she gets in the cart as well. Yells, go, driver! So Lexi kind of holds her arms out like I was Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music. That was very specific. Someone grabs her hands. Oh, and Nate is now standing on the shopping cart, and Sebastian cannot push it and says, you're the worst. Nate says, you'd make a great pack meal. Ready, my lady? God, they went from not speaking to the grossest couple. I'm not into it. Oh no. I don't know what this scene is about. This is probably one of those scenes that I wrote because I had a visual image in it and I could picture it in like a movie trailer, this being this beautiful, massive image. But what is about to happen? Nate's driving, Lexi's in the passenger seat. They open the sunroof. Sebastian says $100 says I can stand up in that while the car is moving. Because apparently I've pictured just it. Lexi says, do it. Everybody's like, no. So Toby says, do not stand up in the sunroof, Sebastian. If you die, I'm not fucking explaining it to your parents. Nate says, you're literally an idiot, Sebastian. And Maya says, Sebastian, that's the worst idea you've ever had. And then Sebastian looks at Lexi and says, I will if you will. Adam says, you're both gonna die, and then we have to clean your guts off the car, and I'm not in the mood. Lexi's like, I want to do it. Nate says, this is a terrible idea. I'm gonna kill my girlfriend. But they do it anyway. Rearrange the seating. Toby's in the driver's seat. I know how to handle the car. If anybody's not gonna kill the two of you, it's me. They start driving. Toby says, okay, you idiots. If you're gonna do it now. So the two of them just stand up in the sunroof while the car is moving. Okay, that's done. And now we have the license plate game. And this is one of the only scenes that actually carried over almost entirely. Not the same. I changed certain things. Obviously, I wrote it differently. Actually, okay, some things are similar. Maya is still terrible at it. Reagan has not spoken or done a thing this entire time, so he's not involved. Toby and Sebastian are ultra competitive. I can't remember who. I think I had it being that Maya was not good at it. I think Adam was trying really, really hard, but was not actually good at it as well. Everybody was competitive, not just Sebastian and Toby. And the last, like the little bits where Maya keeps finding things that they've already seen, and they keep being like, no, we're looking for this one, we're looking for this one. And then at the end, Juliet says, we just passed one of those. You all suck at this game. That is in there. So they keep driving. Lexi takes a nap, and then she drives. Sebastian's in the passenger seat, puts on an awful playlist. Eventually it's 1 a.m. and they pull off and find a park, and they all go lie down in a circle. Their heads are in a circle. And they stare up at the sky, and it's lovely. And that is another scene that I would have pictured in a movie trailer. So they lie in the park for a while, then they get back on the road. Sebastian says he's awake enough not to kill them. Lexi goes back to sleep. Oh, I mentioned Reagan's name. I think that's the first time in the entire road trip that I've mentioned Reagan, that he's even there. Lexi wakes up. Sebastian is got god-awful music on and is screeching like a dying cat as he sings along. And Lexi says, what the hell, Sebastian? Thought you were a good singer. Says, good morning, Sunshine. Sunshine. Good morning, Sunshine. Come on, it's almost 7. I'm starving. I want IHOP. So they go to IHOP, and that is the end of the road trip.